from the past and the nonsense. Tired of toxic games, not an option. Made it out from the mud, I'ma find this.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If y'all are new here, I'm Thomas Moser, that H2. And if y'all are new to the build, new to the channel, new to the Instagram, whatever y'all want to call it, I like calling it the journey. I want to welcome y'all. I hope y'all are enjoying the content so far. Like I said, I'm Thomas Mosler. That .h2 is the new account. I want to start off the video by giving my boy Nathan a huge shout out. He commented on my post yesterday, and we were talking about, getting decals cut for the truck, last month. And then, funny enough, my account get tagged, and he commented, and I reached out to him and I said, hey, bro, let's do it. I want your brand on my truck. I want you to make the decals. I want to support you in any way that I can. So Nathan, thank you. He's getting decals cut for me right now for the new Instagram logo, which is just that .h2. He's throwing the YouTube in front of it. They'll be out, shortly at some point. But for now, I just went ahead and took a razor blade and cut the underscore into a period. And this video is going to be about kind of the story of the Hummer, and we're going to get into that in just a minute. But I really don't want to be a downer in the video. I really hate talking about anything negative, anything that, is just not positive. And it's, I don't know the best way to put it. Just unmotivating. I just looked at my brother's car. Here, I'll show it to y'all. It's right behind me. This is a 1968 Dodge Coronet. I'm gonna make a full video, almost like a story type video of my grandpa talking, my dad talking, my brother, and get everybody's, side of the story behind this car. My grandpa bought this car new in 68, drove it till, it died, and then my dad decided to fully rebuild it and restore it last year for my brother. 2 or 3 nights ago, it got windy. My parents' house is up here, on a mountain. So we're in the middle of the woods. And long story short, a big old tree limb decided to, mark its territory, and it fell on the Coronet. It didn't fall on anybody else's car, of course. William, I'll be 100% honest with you. I would have rather seen that dent on my truck than this car. But, life happens. It is what it is. We can always rebuild it. I guess I'll go ahead and show y'all the damage. So it looks like it hit right here really hard, and the trunk is fiberglass, so it most likely hit this as well and just bounced off. But it cracked the paint all along here, completely dented in, of course the top portion, cracked the paint on the side and bubbled it out a little bit. So they got some body work to do, some repaint, some whatever. But I want to give my dad a shout out. They fully built and restored this car in the driveway over the past 1.5 years. That car literally sat right where the mule is in my truck, just sitting sideways. Painted out here, we put the motor in it, we did everything. And when I mean we, I mean really my dad and William. I helped with little things here and there, but they fully did this car over the last year, and they did a phenomenal job. But like I said, this car, we will save it for a later video, and we'll go into details about that. So y'all clicked on this video to hear the story of the truck. It's a, I don't know the best way to put it. Parts of it are emotional for me. But if I start breaking down a little bit, or if I get off topic, I'm going to apologize beforehand. I'm going to try to keep it quick, try to sum it up, and give y'all as much detail as possible, if that makes sense. I don't want to bore y'all, but if y'all are interested in the history of this truck, why I hang on, why I'm in love with it, and why, I keep building it, just stay tuned for a few minutes. So the truck started life out in the hands of my granny, my dad's mom. She bought it because she was traveling between Noonan, Georgia, Alabama, Marietta, Georgia, and Florida. She had 9 dogs at the time, and she liked to ball out a little bit. So she went and bought the newest, the baddest, the coolest thing on the market at the time, the Hummer H2. It had just come out. So she daily drove it for a couple of years and realized that it wasn't the best thing for her. She had, like I said, a bunch of dogs and always traveling. She really wanted a pickup truck. So she went out, bought herself a brand new King Ranch, and that suited her lifestyle perfectly. And at the same time, my dad had 3 sons and 3 two-door vehicles. He had a 67 Mustang, which was his high school first car, the car that he built, and not his daily, but, you know, a car that he drove a good bit. 86 Bronco, which was his fun rig, bought it in college, took it to the farm, off-road, just had fun with it. And then he had his 94 Cummins, which is still to this day his baby. So, of course, my granny was like, hey, take the Hummer. You know, I got myself a new truck. I don't need the money from it. She's like, you can, you know, daily drive this, get yourself to and from work. You can take the kids to the lake. You can take the family to church, take them out to dinner. You know, it'll fit your lifestyle perfectly. So, long story short, she gave the truck to my dad, and it became his truck. Skip ahead a few years, I'm in 7th grade, and my granny passed away. And when she passed away, my dad was still driving the Hummer, and he had already sold the Mustang and the Bronco, and he had his Cummins. And of course, daily driving a truck that gets about 12 miles to the gallon compared to a little car that gets about 35 miles to the gallon, you know, he kind of made the decision that he wanted to keep my granny's Ford Escape and turn that into his daily driver. So the Cummins became the weekend truck, the work truck. If he ever needed to haul or, you know, throw stuff in the bed or whatever, that's what he would take. He would take it to Florida, tow the boat, take it camping, pull the trailer. And my mom, who would also go on these vacations, would just drive her minivan. So we would always ride with my mom in her car. So the Hummer essentially just got pushed to the side. We drove it just to drive it. My dad would, you know, drive to work once a week, get all the fluids running through it, make sure it would start. That way it didn't just rot away. When I turned 16, my dad said, hey man, take the truck. He's like, you got to drive both your brothers to and from school, you know, take them to practice, just help out a little bit with the driving. He said, if you want to build it, that's your bill. You know, be responsible, have fun. Dad, I've never said this directly, but, you know, thank you for trusting me and thank you for giving me Granny's old truck. In high school, I decided I wanted to start posting YouTube videos. I had already been making videos since about middle school, just for fun. I would film them on my iPad or my phone, edit them on iMovie, download them to my camera roll, and then like send them to like my grandparents and uncles. And in high school, after I got the truck, I created the truck account and started posting those videos that I had already been making and filming to YouTube. And I started modifying the truck a little bit. You know, headlights, wheels, tires, little exhaust, you know, little things. Well, me having fun and just, you know, taking a few hobbies of mine and really, you know, taking them to another level in my life, I got bullied for it. I got bullied at school for not being the smartest kid, not making the best grades, not being the best on the baseball team, not driving the most expensive truck in the parking lot, for filming videos for fun. Everybody wanted to make fun. Oh, you're never going to make it. Like, you're just a stupid kid. Like, why are you wasting your time? And they never understood that I was just doing it for fun. It was just a hobby of mine. So I quit. I quit the baseball team. I quit the social media. I stopped modifying my truck. I just started, you know, doing my own thing. I ended up playing rec ball senior year of high school. I really got into just trampoline stuff. I would still take the truck out and have fun with it with like my really close and good buddies, but that was about it. So then after high school, I went to college, and I'd been following Alex at this point for already 5 or 6 months. I started following Alex, I think it was spring of 2019, maybe even before that. But I had been following him from high school to college. And of course, right when I went to college, Alex moved to Marietta, Georgia, my hometown. Where I went to school, you know, my roads, what I know. And finally, in February 2020, I DM'd him. I said, hey bro, do you want to go to Caffeine and Octane? It's on March 1st. I was like, I'm going to bring a couple buddies. Like, let me know. He said, absolutely, sounds like fun. I'm going to bring a buddy of mine with me. And we show up at Bojangles early that morning. Alex and Merck show up. And we go to Caffeine and Octane. We hang out all day, film in Atlanta. And that's when Alex and I really, you know, became friends and started hanging out a lot more. But during this day, I was at a few hundred followers, had started posting a little bit more. but didn't really have any, goals on social media. My only goals were school. And Alex said, where do you want to be in a year? And I started talking about how I wanted to get a job that was paying good, like in a trade of some sort. And I wanted to be a year further ahead in school and all this and that. And he said, no. Where do you want to be on social media? And I remember just saying 1,000 followers would be awesome. Maybe 2,000, but I doubt I could get there. He looked me in the eye and he said, you can hit 5. And the whole time I'm just like, dude, there's no way. What are you talking about? There ain't nothing special about me. I got a truck with a motor that knocks. It's 17 years old. Like, I'm just a normal, regular Joe Blow kid. He said, build that truck the way you want to build it. Stay consistent, post every day, have fun with it, stay true to yourself. So I took his advice. February of 2021, I hit 5,000 followers. And that's when I really started falling in love with the social media. That's when I really learned that it could, be a reality of mine. And I did it all with the truck, which is the point I'm getting at. So like I had said, the motor had been knocking. So I wanted to always do it. I'd always ask my dad, hey, can we split it? Hey, could you help me out? And I could pay you back over time. He's like, nah, man, it's getting you from point A to point B. Don't worry about it. If anything ever really goes south, he's like, then we can have a conversation. But he said, for now, if you want to do it, that's your bill. So I finally saved up the money and spent $6,000 and engine swapped my truck. We did it ourselves. The motor itself was like 3, but I ended up having to do everything else. I ended up buying short tube headers for it, Street Fire, coil packs, everything. And the total came out to about $6,000. And I just, at that point, once I put a new motor in the truck, I just fell in love with it again. I was happy with the way it rode, the way it drove. I'd gotten it tuned. I was still doing social media. It was still growing. I was still going to meets. I was still building a name and a social media and almost like a future brand for myself through the truck. And here we are now. I'm still hanging on to it. I got bigger plans for it. I got a Texas Speed Stage 2 cam and titanium push rods and valve springs sitting upstairs that need to go in it. And there's a couple things I want to do. And when I lost my account on December 23rd, I had learned that I've met my best friends through this truck. I know in the video of me explaining about my account getting hacked, I talked about how I met everybody through that account. But I never would have created that account if it weren't for this truck. So the reason I hang on to this truck is, first off, it's my granny's truck. It's one of the last things I have to remember her by. I grew up in that back seat. It's my first truck. I've learned everything. I never engine swapped a truck in my life. And, Joe Blow Thomas goes and buys a motor and happens to successfully do it. So this truck's taught me a lot. I've built a social media account off of it. I've met my best friends through this truck. This truck has literally started it all for me, if that makes sense. I know, yes, at the end of the day, it is just a truck, but without this truck, like I said, where I'm at now wouldn't have ever happened. I never would have met Alex if it weren't for the truck. I never would have learned how to engine swap a truck. Or I may have, but y'all know what I'm trying to say. I feel like I need to explain every little thing, but I know a lot of y'all actually understand who actually listen to me. But yeah, that's why I hang on. That's why I don't drive a Jeep or a Silverado or a 4Runner. Why I won't go sell the truck and put a down payment on something new. That's why I hang on. It's my granny's truck. I grew up in the back seat. I know I keep repeating myself, but this truck's been in my life for as long as I can remember. And the fact that the way my truck sits right now, the best way to put it is, this is, when I was 16-year-old Thomas, this was my dream setup. Exactly how the truck is right now was my dream at 16 years old. And it took me to the point, Alex was the one person in my life who told me to not worry about anybody else's opinions, to only focus on what I want to do and to stay true to myself. And to be honest, if I had never met Alex, who's, dude, you're my brother now, but if I had never met you, I don't think I would have ever pursued social media. And I know this video is a little bit longer. I know I'm rambling on, but I'm just trying to give y'all a little bit of insight. Trying to bring y'all along the journey, explain a little bit more about myself. I know this is kind of like the last video, not the most upbeat, but I do have a handful of videos planned. I think Alex and I are going to go filming this weekend. Throw some ideas around, try some new stuff out for y'all. Comment down below what type of videos y'all want to see, what you want to see more of, what you want to see less of. If I found a video and y'all didn't like it, let me know. But I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. And if y'all have any questions about the truck, about me personally, about like whatever, feel free to DM me. I love talking to y'all. I love getting to meet y'all. New account is that.h2. Like I said, feel free to reach out. I love meeting y'all. I love talking to y'all. Like seriously, a lot of times it makes my day. So I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'll see y'all on the next one.
This shit high, boy. Shawty catch a vibe, yeah, I had to put her on. Bought a 2-seater, yeah, we heading for the sun. Shawty got my high, I ain't tripping for the funds. Yeah, I won't start, I ain't tripping, I'm a stunt.